Can we tell if Doomsday predictions are real or fake?
Welcome to Good Mythical More.
Stevie, what are you telling us?
It's a little conceptual. It's a little confusing. So I have a list of historical doomsday predictions, and you're guessing whether they're real or fake.
Not whether or not they happened.
Exactly.
Because none of them happened.
Did this prediction take place, or was it a scenario written by one of our writers? I think it'll become clearer as we get through.
Was it?
Well, no.
Was it predicted?
Yes,
was
but that's
the prediction actually predicted?
Was the prediction? What is the prediction?
Was this predicted?
Yes. Okay. That's where we're at. So, okay, here's the first one. In 1806.
And Stevie?
Yes.
I just want to go ahead and tell you. Every time you're asking the question, I'm going to tighten my Kegel.
Okay.
The entire time you're asking the question, and then I'm going to release it when you're done.
Well, that's a good practice. It's a good practice.
Okay, here I go. In 1806, a hen in England appeared to lay eggs inscribed with the message, "Christ is coming." Many people reportedly visited the hen and began to despair of the coming Judgment Day. It was soon discovered, however, that the eggs were the work of their owner, who had been writing on the eggs in corrosive ink and reinserting them into the hen's body.
Okay, first of all, there's no way you held it that long. It's not good for you to hold it that long. You couldn't do it anymore.
I don't want to keep doing it. It's not sustainable. So if it's real, it's a real hoax. So it's kind of like Charlotte's Web, but with eggs.
People love to do this kind of thing because you know what? If you're currently not getting attention, there's one way you can get attention, and that's to have a hen that lays eggs that says Christ is coming. You know, like if you're struggling for attention, that'll do it every time. And so,
but then they were redirecting it to Jesus.
Yeah, well, maybe.
Was each egg a letter? Like Christ? That's a lot of eggs.
It doesn't sound that way. It sounds as if this was a phrase that was written on every single one. You said in corrosive ink, and I thought you were going to say in cursive.
I know.
Well, of course,
I thought you
God
mispronounced
was right in cursive.
Cursive.
I don't even know, like, ink that... I don't know what that means. What am
Maybe
I
it eats away at the enamel of the
Oh, yeah.
egg?
It's like embossed. It embosses the egg. So it's like doing a little acid.
I
Yes.
think embossing adds something, I think. A corrosion is more like an etching.
This is 1806 too. This is
Well, no, if I almost got an embosser. It's a stamp that you take a piece of paper and you put in there and it stamps down and it just puts an imprint on it.
Imprint.
So it's like basically taking it and pressing it down in certain places so the parts that didn't get pressed down are like pressed up.
Oh.
So
I think this is real,
definitely real.
and I think it's very well-meaning.
And I want to see these chickens.
You're right.
Yes.
I guess one, it doesn't specify if all the eggs said it was just laying Christ is coming eggs, or if it was laying CH eggs. And also how he was taking the eggs, shoving them back inside the hen, and then being like, come watch my hen. I have a feeling a Christ egg is coming out of it.
Right.
But then
And
someone
you know what?
caught him early and was like,
You'd show up for that.
get out of that hen.
I'd show up for that, especially in 1806. What else you got to do? You don't even have electricity, no cars. All you got is books. You know, it's like you can get words on eggs.
Speaking from experience, you can't get an egg to go back up into a chicken.
Right. Yeah.
Like I've worked with chickens.
Yep.
It just doesn't go that direction.
And you've tried this.
Well, I have experience with chickens, but I didn't want to insinuate that I've tried to put an egg back up into a chicken.
Well, that was what you insinuated.
Well, I don't.
Because if you
I
go
didn't
back
mean to
in
do
time,
that.
what you said was, speaking from experience, you can't put an egg back in a chicken, which makes it seem like that's what you're trying to say.
I've just worked with chickens.
Okay.
Okay?
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
I just don't think you can get the
Well, this guy
Kegel
did it.
power of a chicken
Okay, so the real miracle here is the guy got those eggs back in those chickens.
I don't.
Maybe
I
Christ
think,
is coming.
I think that he would probably just put it underneath the hen and it would just be there. I don't think that people were visibly watching it come out of the.
I think B, for sure, he was stuck on it. Dude, I'm not saying you should try it, and I'm not saying you should try to see it if it can happen or that you ever did. But I'm saying that this man, in 1806, he was stuffing eggs back in chickens.
Google it.
100%.
Can you get an egg back up in a chicken?
If it can come out, it can go in.
Well, the Kegels, though.
It's like if a kid sticks its head in a banister.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, sometimes the fire department does have to show up, so you're right.
See? See?
I think you can get it in there.
I'm waiting for a summary of
you try hard enough.
of the Googling of that I did not do on my own computer.
It looks like we're the first people to ever ask this question.
Yes!
I'm not finding any answers.
I know.
I think it was a stuffing. I think it was a full stuffing.
It's not. It was just, they were just putting it in the nest.
That's no fun, though.
It's a hoax.
But think about how amazing it would be if you saw it come out of the chicken. You'd be like,
Well,
hold up.
you can't see it come out of the chicken because
But no.
it's resting on a roost.
If I'm trying to manipulate people with this, I'm showing up. You're showing up to my house. I've got a little bed for the chicken. There's no eggs. I got a chicken, no eggs on the chicken.
Yeah.
I set it down. We wait. Christ is coming. You're like, there's no way that's not real.
But it also didn't give a date. It was just like a billboard for the returning. You gotta
no,
you gotta
it's
give
like,
a
it's
date.
1806. No, yeah, it was just warning in general, Christ is coming.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Joshua Reisman, a Joshua Tree National Park Ranger.
So not the cooking guy.
Okay, hold on. Let me just say, if this isn't made up, if this is made up by the writers, let me just give a couple of names.
Oh,
Very
Weissman.
close.
First of all, you said Joshua Reisman, which rhymes with Joshua Weissman, which
couldn't
is
even
a
think
fellow
about
creator. And you said Joshua from Joshua Tree.
Yeah, Joshua Reichman
So,
from Joshua
so I'm
Tree.
going to say
a lot
that
of
this is-
Joshua,
so
a lot
I'm-
of suspicion.
Before I hear the rest of it,
Yeah.
I'm locking in that this is not real.
So change my mind.
he burned you. He burned you, writers. But do you want to hear the rest of it?
Yeah.
Okay. He got stranded in the desert for 2 days in the summer of 2007. Once rescued, he said he had a vision that the world would erupt in flames on August 23rd, 2010.
You didn't change my mind.
Didn't change my mind.
Yeah. Yeah, he got
Joshua
you guys.
Reisman.
He really
From
got
Joshua
you.
Tree.
From Joshua Tree. Come on.
What were you
What's going to be
thinking?
next?
What were you even thinking? God.
I couldn't
Please,
keep going.
please don't actually
what's
apologize.
Dan from Danville, Virginia.
Dan and Phil from Danville, Virginia.
Oh, there we go.
Let's
There
get
it
back
is.
to the 1800s.
Dan and Phil in Virginia from Danville, Virginia.
Yes.
You also don't know who Dan and Phil are either.
Carney, you know who Dan and Phil are? Okay.
1813. Joanna Southcott. Ring any bells?
Nope. She's not a
Okay.
creator. She's not a creator.
Great. Announced that in the following year she would give birth to the second Messiah, whose arrival would signal the last days of the earth, despite being 64 years old and, as she told her doctors, a virgin. She died before a baby could be born.
She died within like 2 weeks.
Well, she wasn't actually pregnant, is what you're saying.
I'm trying to figure out what I'm saying.
Now, that would be a good story. Let's just say that. A 64-year-old virgin
Is it the
pregnant.
You
That
talking
would
about
be
this
a miracle?
the second Messiah? What is what is a second Messiah? Is that what you said? Mm-hmm. Not the second coming of the Messiah.
Oh, it's another Messiah.
It's the second Messiah. That's not a thing.
It's a backup. It's
I-
a just in case situation. It's redundancy.
I've just never heard of the concept of a second Messiah. I mean, people will say they're Jesus, but they won't say I'm the new Jesus.
People probably would.
Yeah, people will
People
say
say a lot of
anything,
things.
but will it get traction in the 1800s? Nope.
I think, yeah. I think this happened.
Yeah, it's happened.
It happened?
It said when I dug a little bit, just the tiniest bit deeper, it said that she had predicted a bunch of stuff, and she wrote a bunch of books, and it said that she had like 100,000 followers, which I don't know how you count
On Instagram.
necessarily. Yeah. But because some of the stuff that she had predicted over the last 20 years of her life, some of it had become true, people were convinced that this was going to be true.
You do make me think when you're like, in 1800, it was like, you had 100 followers. The nomenclature of followers on social media is not a healthy term because it gives everybody a temptation for a messiah complex. I have followers.
Yeah, what's another word we can come up with?
Just
Fake friends?
larkers.
Watchers. You have 100,000 watchers.
Followers. Followers sounds pretty religious. I can't come up with anything better. Any ideas? What about Joshua Christman?
What are all the platforms other than subscribe? I think everybody's simplified. Are we having this talk right now? Okay.
It's kind of late to have it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Followers, yeah.
Yeah.
In the scheme of social media. Of course, I learned a lot about TikTok today.
Yeah, there's still a lot to learn.
There's a lot to
if
learn.
you know where to look.
Right? I don't think we should call them followers. This new thing that they're being called. Next one.
1948, an anti-war activist named William Walker said that he received a vision from God that the Third World War was only 3 years away and it would mark the destruction of the world if every country didn't come together to agree upon a set of rules that would prevent it from happening. Though his prediction only ever made waves in local news, in 1949, when the Geneva Convention took place, he said that this was the solution God was looking for.
This guy's not famous. He's covered in local news.
He said there needed
He
to
really
be a,
needed social media.
He said there needed to be a list of rules that everybody agreed to. And then it basically came true in the Geneva Convention.
That's what she said.
That's what she said.
I said it. I emphasized it differently, but that's what she said. Because it is what she said.
Right. I was just making sure I understood.
It is what she said.
No, this didn't happen.
William Wagner?
William Walker,
I mean, he's just a dude.
an anti-war activist.
Yes, he did it.
Nope.
Okay, a win for the writers somewhat. Redeemed a little.
Oh, because I fell for it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Didn't get me though.
It was too boring to disagree with. Put it to you that way.
Well, the fact that it actually came true.
Oh, I like that part of it.
Yeah. Seems a little convenient.
All right.
Johannes Stoffler, a German mathematician and astronomer, predicted a world cataclysm on February 20th, 1524. He said a flood was going to engulf the world. Boat businesses boomed as the most popular pamphlets carried Stoffler's message. When the day arrived, it began to drizzle,
Pamphlets.
and in Germany, people rioted as they tried to board a 3-story ark that had been built on the Rhine. Hundreds were killed.
What? Okay. I feel like I would know about this.
So he fomented a boat boom,
Yeah, he was a boatman.
and then a lot of people died. How again?
When it started to drizzle outside, they were convinced that was the beginning of the
Like
flood.
a stampede.
And so they were like, get me on that boat.
Can you do me a favor and read only the words that are hard to say?
Stoffler, cataclysm.
Huh?
Pamphlet was hard for me.
Yeah.
That pamphlet was hard. I didn't see it coming.
Pamphlet cataclysm.
I didn't see it coming, pamphlet, because I'm not reading these ahead. You know, reading out loud and you don't see pamphlet coming. It's just, it's a little
Blindside.
A
hard.
pamphlet will sneak up on you.
Yeah.
On the page and in the world. I think that this is real, and I'm very interested in hearing more about it.
I hope it's real, but sadly, I'm intrigued.
It is real.
Good work.
To the thing about more about it. Sure.
Because there's another arc.
Let
That's wild.
me see if I don't know.
People
Oh,
started
it says
buying
after the disaster, Stoffler reportedly called for a mulligan, saying his calculations were incorrect. The correct end of the world, again due to a massive flood, would be 30 years later. But of course, he was wrong then too.
Yeah, wrong again.
Keep your boats. Keep them maintained, and I'll sell you the stuff to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, one more.
Yes.
1965. I hope there's no hard words on this. A farmer in Colorado named Lloyd Olson beheaded a chicken for dinner. We're back to chicken here.
Yes.
Only it didn't die. The chicken carried on with its life for another 12 days before succumbing to its injuries. Olson took this to mean the world would end in 12 years and spent the remainder of his life warning his community and trying to earn his way into heaven.
So, I definitely know that there's a story about somebody trying to behead a chicken and it being a headless chicken
Well, there's
for a
a
while.
saying, running around like a chicken with
No,
his head cut
no.
off. So even in short term,
I'm not talking about that. I'm saying there is a story about a chicken that lived for an extended period of time
with no head.
with no head, and I think it was much longer than 12 days in the version that I've heard. It was multiple years.
Now, why would that mean anything about 12 years till the end of the world is beyond me. I think the only thing you can really learn from it is chickens don't eat heads.
Right. But I'm going to go with yay.
Me too.
In the end, the writers win.
The writers win!
Hold on, but we got to hear about the headless chicken because it did happen. We had that's the last thing we had.
He's reaching for his phone.
Got to go away with that because
Which means he can say anything he wants.
Mike the headless chicken was a Wyandotte rooster who lived.
Say it again.
Wyandotte
Why don't you say it again?
rooster who lived for 18 months after being nearly decapitated by a farmer in 1945.
Nearly decapitated.
Yeah, but
So it was dangling on.
no. He survived because the axe missed the jugular vein, leaving most of his brainstem and one ear intact. And there's a picture of this thing right here.
What?
Yeah, right there. Look at that thing. It doesn't have a head. Mike the headless chicken.
Oh my God.
18 months. Look at that. There's no head on that chicken.
Oh my God.
That's when he had a head.
Oh.
That's when he didn't have a head.
Oh.
Mike is his name.
But it's got an ear and a brainstem?
And they would put little corns and stuff in there in a little hole.
Oh God. Why did you continue to that?
Because I wanted to make sure it wasn't going crazy.
The writers had won.
We interrupt with breaking news. With just 2 days until their mission to rescue Earth from the incoming asteroid, space astronauts Rhett and Link are reportedly crying like little baby boys, scared they don't have what it takes. To that, this newsman says, suck it up and grow a pair. You're our only hope. Join us this Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on Good Mythical Evening, Sloshed in Space.